and TigerInsider.com and all your social media platforms for Inside the Trenches.
See, I'm from Big Bama, you're not the little one. We got smoke for anybody that wants some. Yeah, we don't do no yapping, and we don't do no capping. We from the state where all we know is make it happen. Oh.
All right, everybody, it's a Monday night in Titletown, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and you know what that means? It's 7 o'clock every Monday night. Inside the Trenches, starring former Alabama and NFL greats Wallace Gilberry and Andre Smith, and featuring Rodney Orr and me, Gary Harris. We're with you the next hour talking Alabama football, in-depth conversation on the blowout victory. I mean, historic win, 73-0 over ULM this past Saturday night in the home opener at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Also, a preview of the Wisconsin game. Wisconsin coming in here from the Big Ten. Be a much tougher game Saturday morning at 11 a.m. on ABC. And also, former Alabama wide receiver great DJ Hall will join the program live. Right now, let's jump right into it. We've got everybody ready to go. Alabama 73, ULM 0. Let me run down some historical context for you here before I let Wallace and Andre and Rodney dive in here with analysis. It's the largest margin of victory since 1951 in a shutout when Alabama beat Delta State, the Statesmen, 89-0. Now, in fairness, Delta State was without several starters in that game. I did the research. But it was 73-0. It's the first time to score 70 points in a game since Coach Bryant's 1973 national championship team beat Virginia Tech, or as Coach Bryant would say, VPI for Virginia Polytech Institute, 77-6. That's right. Coach Saban never got to 70. Now, in fairness, there were a number of games where they had over 50 at the half, 42, 49 at the half, and Coach Saban just flat out called off the dogs in the second half. But they never reached 70. So it's an historic win for Alabama. And let's start with Wallace Gilberry. Wallace, it's exactly what the Tide needed. Listen, I understand the caliber of competition. There was a disparity between the rosters. Still, when you lose the way they did last week in Florida State, you want to come home and get everybody back on board. And when you beat a team 73-0, I don't care who you're playing, that's impressive.
Doesn't matter. Absolutely. Impressive is not the word, Gary. Like you said, we knew Alabama was going to bounce back. We knew this was the game. Me and Andre said it last week. This is the game coaches want to see the big jump. And they made a huge jump. Hats off to the whole offense. They played a collective unit, playing aggressively together. The O-line was aggressive the whole game. The D-line was in the backfield the whole game. So my hats off to those guys for going out there, answering the bell and changing their mindset. And we were flying around different too. So it looked like a totally different team.
Yeah, it did. And Wallace, let's stay with the defense for a moment because I'm going to let Andre speak on the offensive line and how that led to some great quarterback play. You mentioned the defense being disruptive, 12 tackles for loss. Now, they didn't get a sack, but they did affect the quarterback. And to me, and this is why I'm going to ask you, you're the expert, but it appeared to me watching in the press box, and I was watching my binoculars a lot. I wanted to watch the line of scrimmage. James Smith, Overton, Simmons, those guys, it seemed to me that when the offensive linemen tried to engage, they got their hands, they got them on the offensive lineman, and they got off the blocks. It just seemed like they did a much better job of that. What did you see?
Gary, I was fortunate enough to be on the sideline during warm-ups, and those guys were you can tell they were putting the emphasis on using their hands. You can tell Freddie Roach was making the emphasis on them putting their hands. And they carried it over to the game. The whole game, again, like I said, the D-line pushed them around. And again, we understand the level of talent, but still, those guys are on scholarships as well. First and foremost. But the way those guys were, like, again, engaging off those blocks, making plays at the line of scrimmage, that allowed those tackle for losses. Being able to, like you say, take on the initial blunt, engaging at the line of scrimmage, shedding blocks, and moving your feet and making plays. And they did a good job of that.
Wallace, it's so hard to get a shutout in college football. Like you said, you don't take it for granted. Now, on Saturday, the competition level is going to be ratcheted up. Wisconsin, they're not a great Big Ten team, but they are a solid Big Ten team. What can you take from that performance defensively that can carry over to this next game?
Well, to me, it really doesn't matter who the team is, and Drake can probably contest to this. It's all about the mindset. And last week, we didn't have the correct mindset going into the game. I felt like this week we had no choice but to have the correct mindset, and it showed early on. So if we can have that mindset, if they can catapult what they're doing and keep that mindset the same, I think we'll be fine.
All right, let's get to Andre. On the offensive side of the ball, the numbers were staggering, obviously, Andre, in terms of nearly 600 yards of total offense. And individually, the quarterbacks just put up phenomenal numbers. I mean, numbers that are awe-inspiring. And start with Ty Simpson, 17 of 17. You just you can't do any better than that. Well over 200 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, almost a flawless performance. And then Austin Mack and Keelan Russell also threw multiple touchdowns. It's the first time ever that Alabama's had 3 quarterbacks throw for multiple touchdowns in a game, 7 touchdowns total. And that started up front with the offensive line, right?
Absolutely. You get a QB time, he has the ability to make plays down the field. Fortunate enough, the offensive line did a tremendous job against ULM. Those guys came out and dominated early. They were able to do that, sustain that throughout 4 quarters. And they end up with the quarterbacks having a great day and the offense as a whole having a tremendous day also.
Andre, wanted to get your perspective if you had an opportunity. Obviously, Wilkin Formby at right tackle, Caden Proctor at left tackle, maybe their improvement in this game in the pass blocking, and also if you got an opportunity to really focus in on the true freshman Michael Carroll when he got in the game at right tackle.
I just think the tackles did a tremendous job getting to their spot, playing with their hand and moving their feet when they had to adjust. The biggest thing is having confidence when playing offensive line. If you're confident in yourself, you can go out there and dominate every single snap. Because when you think you can, that's when you have a little hesitancy. You may struggle a little bit. But those guys had probably a phenomenal week of practice. They really bought into what Coach DeBoer was selling this week. And those guys went out and played on all 8 cylinders. And were fortunate enough to dominate and have a great game. I think the freshman did a tremendous job also. Play against that level of talent and get his feet wet. Just to gain the game experience in the college football for the first time. I think he did a tremendous job. I'm really excited for him.
Andre, the quarterbacks, as I said, combined to go 29 of 33 for 371, 7 touchdowns, no pick. Simpson, 17 of 17, 226 and 3 TDs. Austin Mack, 8 of 10, 80 yards and 2 TDs. And then the true freshman Keelan Russell got in there, 4 for 6, 65 yards and 2 TDs. Now, it started with the offensive line, but those quarterbacks, I mean, again, starting with Simpson on through the entire roster, 3 scholarship quarterbacks, that's a pretty amazing collection of talent. What did you see from the quarterbacks, even with the good offensive line play, that allowed them all 3 to have success? Because sometimes there's a drop-off when you go to another quarterback. That did not happen.
Man, I really just saw decisive, thought process by going through the plays, breaking it down, going through their reads, be able to find the open guy, find the weak, so to speak, on the defense, what we like to call the fish, that defensive back that we may pick on throughout the entire game. And I think those guys were able to find those, have that connection with their receivers, and those guys be where they're supposed to be, and them having the trust in them to put the ball where they need to, and those guys can make plays on it the way they did. I think it was tremendous for the offense as a whole. I think it's most definitely a game to build on. I think the sky's the limit, and fortunately hopefully we can see this for the remainder of the season.
And Rodney, I know you were really impressed with Kevin Riley, the running back out of Tuscaloosa County High School, who, man, those feet, that vision.
I think everyone was impressed with him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sweet.
All 3 of y'all speak to the job. Well, all the running backs. Again, It was just a great night. But Rodney, you really liked what you saw from Kevin Riley.
I do. I mean, he's really quick. He's athletic, and I think he brings something, the versatility when he comes out of the backfield. He's an outstanding receiver. Again, he hits the hole really hard. He's not the biggest guy, maybe 6 feet, 195, but he runs bigger than what he is, I think. He kind of reminds me, and I know there's been a lot of comparisons thrown out there to different running backs. And I said this to you in the press box, Gary, and before I could even say it, when I told you, I said, you know who he reminds me of? You said Glenn Coffey. Yeah. And I said, exactly. Reminded me
my
a
type
lot
of running back. My type of running back.
Yeah, reminded me a lot of Glenn Coffey. I know he ran behind you a lot, Andre. And obviously, Wallace is really familiar with Glenn too, an outstanding player in his own right. But I really thought that Kevin Riley was, he's kind of been the surprise. He was recruited pretty heavily. He's originally committed to Miami, flipped to Alabama late in the process. He's a redshirt freshman from here in Tuscaloosa. But I tell you what, he stepped up big time so far early in the season.
Another guy that reminded me of somebody, and I want to get Wallace and Andre's reaction because, again, he wears the same number. But if you didn't know better, you looked out there at number 17, you saw the quick twitch. You saw the ability to catch the ball in space and do something with it after the catch. I mean, Ladzir Brooks looked a lot like Jalen Waddle to me, guys. I mean, the number, obviously, that's a comparison, but that type of explosiveness after the catch, what did you guys see from him?
I just really saw a dynamic receiver, get the ball in his hand, being able to make plays for the offense, be able to fly around, catch the ball in tight places and even in open places, be able to make defenders move and make them miss, and end up in the end zone. I think he did a tremendous job. I think the sky's the limit. Just continue to build on this past weekend, and these guys keep building. I think we have some really special going forward.
All right, let's DJ Hall is ready, Wallace and Andre. So one of the great wide receivers in Alabama football history.
Yes, sir.
Under both Mike Shula and Nick Saban. DJ, guys, you take it over with your buddy DJ Hall.
Bone, how's it going tonight?
What's going on, fella?
What we call him Bone to you guys is DJ Hall. DJ, one of the most prolific receivers in Alabama history. Mr. 3-time All-SEC. Most catches in Alabama history. Holder. DJ Hall. How we doing tonight, DJ?
Oh man, it's a blessing to be here, man. Glad y'all had me on, man.
Hey, no doubt. Thanks for joining us, Bone. Appreciate you, man.
We got Big Dre here with us too.
Oh, Big Dre. Oh, boy, I can't even explain the love I got for you, my boy.
Hey, it's always love, brother. Especially when we celebrated in the end zone. I remember all those plays.
Hey,
for sure.
Hey, I got that picture on my mama wall right now.
Yes, sir. I love those moments, man.
Hey, and DJ, speaking of moments, hold on, Dre. DJ, speaking of moments, I know we got you real quick. What's your best moment in your Alabama history?
Man, I think my biggest moment might have been that Tennessee catch, man. Catching the ball on them players, but I'm gonna tell you what, man. You can, like I tell people, I done had a lot of moments, but what I feel like what separated me from the most is in my 4 years at Alabama, man. I had 3 drops. And I feel like as a receiver, that's a big moment. When these guys having 3 drops in one game, I went 4 years with 3.
That's amazing, bro.
That's
amazing. That's amazing.
Man. Had a sticky
Rodney.
Iggy, huh?
You know what's impressive about that? Wallace and Andre, you know what's impressive about that? 3 drops in his career is DJ was one of the best between the hash mark receivers that I think I've seen at Alabama. Wasn't necessarily the biggest guy, but a lot of his catches came between the hash marks where he, a lot of receivers, they're kind of peeking out the corner of their eye. They drop a lot of balls.
Third down, we knew it was going to DJ and the other opposing team did also. He still called it.
Hey, that's all 175 pounds of me too.
Hey, but you played like you were 215.
Exactly. So DJ, tell us what you're doing these days out here.
Man, I'm gonna tell you what, man. I'm out here, man. I'm kind of living my dream, man. Football is always a blessing for me, man. But for me, my dream was always to own boats and be on the water, man. And that's what I'm doing right now. I got my pontoon rental company. It's doing great. I'm on my.
Tell us where to find you and how to find you out there. And we're talking down in Destin.
I'm really a hands-on, word-of-mouth type of person, man. You contact me personally, and I'm gonna do what I can, man. I ain't got 200-300 boats like the big company, but I got enough boats to make everybody happy.
You ain't got it yet. It's coming. It's coming.
I love it.
Yes, sir.
Look, DJ, man. Hey, thanks for taking the time. We know you at the game. We know you and your brother Magic always giving back to the children of y'all community back there in Choctaw, man. So I appreciate you, bro, for coming on tonight with us. Anything you want to say?
Tell Magic I say what's up.
Love y'all, bro. I appreciate it. Roll Tide.
Anything else you want to say for the fans, Bone, before you go?
Hey, I'm gonna tell y'all like this, man. These 2 guys y'all got on this podcast is 2 of the greatest Alabama players. First of all, Wallace Gilberry, one of the hardest workers y'all will ever meet. And my boy Dre Smith was one of the most humble, when I tell y'all humble players I ever been around. Wow. You talk about a first round draft pick, and this man was super humble, man. Don't ever take that away. Stay who y'all are, man. I love y'all. Roll Tide.
I love you too, bro. Be blessed out there, bro. And look, if you're in the Destin, Choctaw area, call me or call Dre. We'll get you in touch with Bone, and we'll get you on them boats.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We're going to take you to Crab Island, baby.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. All right, baby. Love you, ball.
Love, roll tide, baby.
In
It's roll
Crab
tide.
Island, Rodney, you don't have to go to the Caribbean. You want to see some of the most beautiful water in the world, just go to Crab Island. I know Wallace and Dre probably been there too.
Oh
It is beautiful. It is
It's
beautiful.
unbelievable.
Crystal blue.
Bahama
Crystal
who?
blue. I tell you, somebody else is on the island this week. I love the way Dre Kirkpatrick played in the backfield.
Yeah,
Dre
he
Kirkpatrick
did.
Jr.,
You're right.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. I love this intensity. I love this effort. Oh man, his energy almost. I was just gonna say that, Dre. It was times I looked out there and I thought I saw Big Dre. You know, it was
Thanks.
yeah, man. It was full circle moment, man. So proud of that kid for coming on the Bama and just because it's hard to be a legacy kid, guys. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Just because your dad's good at something, just because your dad plays somewhere, that doesn't mean the apple falls far from the tree. But this kid has it, guys. He has it, and I like what he's doing.
Thanks.
Wallace, a couple of things on that. Number one is he brings a lot of physicality. I'm not sure that was a targeting. Maybe it was, but I'm not really sure about that, even though they called it. But I tell you what, he's a playmaker. I saw him in the Alabama High School Mississippi All-Star game. I've never seen a kid in an All-Star game make as many plays in a game.
All over the field.
All over the field. Blocking, punch, covering fumbles. He caused a fumble the other night. Now, I want to mention another player. I don't know if you guys recognize number 36 out there, QB Reese at middle linebacker, inside linebacker.
Absolutely. He looked amazing.
Listen, this guy, he's undersized. He is one of the most instinctive players on that football team. He created a fumble. He recovered a fumble. I mean, limited time that he played. This guy makes plays. I'm telling you, he makes a lot of plays.
You know what him and Drake Kirk have in common?
Yeah,
on that sideline.
What's that?
They're both passionate about the game.
Yeah,
they love football.
Yeah.
You can tell they love the game. They are. Some kids are just out there because they got NIL deals and they're good enough to be out there. Those kids, you can tell they love the game, and it's exciting to see them play.
They're playing the right game for the right reason.
You know, another thing they have in common is both their dads played major college football. I mean, obviously, QB Reese's dad, Quentin Reese, played at Auburn. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Dre, the star here.
Yeah, he played at Auburn. QB Reese's dad was a really good player at Auburn, guys. Quentin Reese. Yeah, how about that?
I know that's you talk about how divided.
Yeah.
Not anymore, Wallace.
Let me tell you guys something. As long as I've been sportscasting, I've seen this rivalry. But I tell you something, I've seen families that grew up on one side and then their son wound up going to play for the other side. Let me tell you what, it all ends right there. When you're the father, let me make it clear who Quentin Reese is pulling for. He's pulling for his son, man. You know what I mean?
No question about it. No question about it.
What a good segment. What a great interview with DJ Hall. And that's the kind of stuff that we'll get here at Inside the Trenches because of these guys playing connections at Alabama in the NFL. You're going to get some insight. You're going to get more Where Are They Now features with former players. And that's what kind of makes this different. It is
absolutely. We got
the trenches, and it's inside information. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a break and get some of our great sponsors in for Inside the Trenches. When we come back, we're going to go ahead and open up the lid on Wisconsin. As we said, after this 73-0 absolute beatdown of ULM, an expected opponent that's going to be much tougher on Saturday from the Big Ten. We'll have that for you when Inside the Trenches continues live from Tuscaloosa right after this.
But the best beach days are ahead of you on the Alabama Gulf Coast now through Thanksgiving. No one wants to work on vacation, so let iBeach do it for you. They'll set up your chairs, umbrellas, and canopies every morning and take them down every evening so you can soak up the calm, the sun, and the peace you deserve. For more information, you can call us at 251-504-0097 or visit us online at ibeachservice.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them. They have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go. And that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, You can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Oh, no.
ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day.
I feel like doing
And because
sign
these
language.
people are actively looking for
I feel
jobs
like doing
just like
sign
yours,
language.
it's easy
That's
to find the
right.
right person right
You gotta
away.
get you some
In
honey and some
fact,
tea, bro.
4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now and try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Voice. I like that voice.
ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Hi, I'm Marty Lyons. When I come to Taco Casa, I always order the 2 and 2. 2 Sanchos, 2 enchiladas.
And I'm Wilson Storby. When I come to Taco Casa, I always order the Fantastic Four. 4 Sanchos, 4 enchiladas, 4 tacos, and 4 burritos.
Taco Casa is always made with the finest ingredients and made fresh when you order. So whatever the size of your appetite,
there's always something delicious waiting for you here at Taco Casa.
Taco Casa, under the biggest cactus in town.
Get Labor Day savings now at the Home Depot with up to 35% off, plus up to an extra $450 off select appliances like Whirlpool that can keep up with your busy routine. Whirlpool refrigerators from the Home Depot have the storage and ice capacity for everything from school lunches to stocking coolers for sports practice. Celebrate Labor Day with savings on select appliances at the Home Depot. Offer valid August 21st through September 10th. U.S. only. See store online for details.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Alabama fans are all over the world, and we are too. Download the Tide 100.9 app right now in the App Store and Google Play, and take the Crimson Tide everywhere you go.
Yes, I can hear you.
Labor Day has.
Football is back. Join former Alabama standouts Wallace Gil.
Here you go.
That's come and gone, but the best beach days are ahead of you on the Alabama Gulf.
Football is back. Join former Alabama standouts Wallace Gilberry and Andre Smith alongside Tider insiders Rodney Orr and Gary Harris every Monday from 7 to 8 p.m. Central as Wallace and Andre take you inside their time in the Crimson and White and in the NFL. Come along as they give you an inside look into the Crimson Tide and more. Catch us Monday from 7 to 8 Central on Tide100.9.com and TiderInsider.com and all your social media platforms for Inside the Trenches.
All right, welcome back to Inside the Trenches. I'm Gary Harris. Rodney Orr is in studio with me. Our two stars, former Alabama and NFL greats, Wallace Gilberry and Andre Smith, are with us as well. And it's time to unwrap the package on Wisconsin a little bit. Guys, I'm a big NFL fan, and I know obviously both of you played a long time in the league. And, of course, they play 17 games now, so you can't technically go 500. But the NFL is set up for parity. They try to set it up where, basically everybody, is as equal as possible. So every week you have incredible games. And for the most part, yesterday we saw that. There were a couple blowouts, but most of those games went right down the wire. Do you think we're getting that way in college football? It's becoming week to week, and you can't look at what happened last week and get a barometer for what's going to happen the next week. I mean, even in college football, these games, I just get a feeling that every week, no matter the opposition, especially once we get into SEC play, Wallace, that you better strap it on and be ready.
Absolutely. And let's keep in mind, guys, a lot of these coordinators are coming from NFL or ex-NFL coaches or assist, so they're used to running the scores up. That's how they get paid. It's that's their production. So I think that's what you're going to back in the day, guys, like you say, guys would get up about, 40 points and you may see the third, fourth stream. And I think those days are over with because at the end of the day, those points, so at the end of the year, they matter. How bad you beat a team, now it matters. So I think you're going to see that. I think you're going to see guys keeping their guys in there and throwing the gas all the way through. What about you, Dre?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I feel the same way you feel. I think they're most definitely going to keep their gas foot on the accelerator, finish games with large margins of victory. like you said, at the end of the year, it really pays the people who actually choose the finals, whoever goes to the college playoffs. They really look hard into those scores at the end of the year. So those points really do matter.
Rodney, this is a return game. Last year, Alabama went to Madison. A bunch of fans went up there. It was a great trip for Alabama fans. And the Crimson Tide did the number on Wisconsin at Camp Randall, 42-10. Of course, Tyler Van Dyke, their starting quarterback, was carted off on the first drive, and that impacted Wisconsin. But they are excited about coming here. I've already heard from some of their media people. There's going to be a big contingent of fans. Even fans that don't have tickets are going to come, much like Alabama fans did last year, to be around here. They're going to bring a big media contingent as well. They see this as an opportunity. They saw what Florida State did to Alabama, even though that was a home game, and they feel like they can come in here and have a chance to be competitive. What do you know about the Badgers?
Well, first of all, I'll tell you this. Luke Fickell's an outstanding coach, and he's going to get that program, I think, on the right track. They really don't feel like he's done that yet, but they've won 2 games this year. Again, I understand the competition. Middle Tennessee State, they beat them 42-10. They opened the season against Miami of Ohio, won that one 17-0. But here's the thing. Defensively, again, we can talk about Alabama's competition against ULM. That really doesn't matter. When you're talking about what Wisconsin has done defensively, they've got 8 sacks in 2 games. They've only allowed 67 yards rushing in those 2 games. They've been really dominant.
Absolutely. The Big Ten Player of the Week, Rodney.
Yeah. Let me tell you, if you're talking about quarterback Danny O'Neal, he was 23 of 27. He had to come off the bench in game 1. Again, their starter was injured. Danny O'Neal was 23 of 27 in this last game, 283 yards. That's a Wisconsin record for a first-time start. He had 3 touchdown passes. Now, he did throw an interception, but this guy has kind of brought them to life offensively.
Sure has.
Now, one thing I will say that could be a big advantage for Alabama. Wisconsin's offensive line's been a little bit of a shambles. I mean, they had 4 new starters last week from week 1. They've had to shuffle things around. So when you look at them, maybe on the offensive line, that may be an advantage for Alabama's defense.
You know, Wallace and Dre, what worries me about, I'm going to get your reaction to this. What worries me about Danny O'Neal, he's another transfer guy coming in from San Diego State. You know, he's 6 feet. He's not a big guy, but we saw it with Castellanos. We saw it with Pavia. He's another one of these guys that's right around 200 pounds. He's kind of stocky. He's kind of strong and tough. Can certainly throw it, but he can run it too. And boy, that just makes me nervous based on what we saw Castellanos do this year and Pavia do last year. Wallace, this type of quarterback is giving Alabama some trouble now.
Well, not only that, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. As coming from a defensive lineman that played on both levels, that small quarterback gives you trouble on any level. We want the 6'5", 260-pound Ben Roethlisberger that's going to be on the spot, and we know we have to get to that spot. The worst thing as a pass rusher is trying to rush a quarterback that doesn't have a spot. Because now in the back of my mind, there is no spot for me to get to. So now I got to slow down my rush and now rush with my eyes. And as pass rusher, that's the last thing we want to rush with. We rush with our hands before our eyes. But a guy like that, you have to rush with your eyes because you have to have pass rush lane integrity, understanding where your gap is, the opposing gap can't be, and putting your body and the other guy opposite of that tends to a lot of people. But it's going to be some out there that understand that pass rush lanes integrity are the most important things dealing with a mobile quarterback.
Dre, having already played Castellanos and seen what he did to Alabama's defense, is that going to benefit them in this game against O'Neal?
You know, it's a copycat league, so I'm sure they're going to try to do some things that Florida State did to Alabama's offense. I think these guys are going to go come out and, like I said, do some things like Florida State did and make those plays and try to make those plays. It's just up to Alabama's defense to go out and execute. And like Wallace said, you have to have pass lane integrity when you pass rush integrity when you're rushing. And make sure when you get to the level of the quarterback, you just don't sucker rush. You circle back, spin back inside, do some type of move, to throw off where you think you may be at.
Folks, if you want to join the conversation, we can take phone calls. We're set up. 205-339-4953 if you want to talk with Dre and Wallace and Rodney. 205-339-4953. Give us a call and get in with the Inside the Trenches crew here and join the conversation. Rodney and I'm going to get Dre and Wallace to comment as well. All games are important, particularly now since Alabama's dropped one. But this is SEC versus Big Ten. I mean, this is a people around the country take notes on these games, and you're not only playing for yourself, obviously first, but you're playing for your league, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean,
and
go ahead, Wallace.
No, Riley, you're fine because I know you're going to go deep inside with the stats, so I want to hear them too. Go ahead, what you got for
No, what I was saying was, I mean, this is about pride. I mean, the SEC versus the Big Ten. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of competition there. Ohio State beat Texas.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? If Wisconsin were to come in here, pull off an upset over Alabama, the Big Ten's quickly gaining all the bragging rights in this. But here's what I would say too, though, is let me say this about ULM. And people say, well, it was ULM. I think it's a baby step in the right direction. It gets Alabama back on a winning note. And
bad taste out of your mouth for sure.
Exactly. And it prepares you to move forward into this game. This is a really big game too, because it's the next step. And this is an Alabama team that's got a lot of growing to do. This is an opportunity to improve as a team. And this is a good team. Wisconsin is a better team than people think.
Absolutely. All I keep hearing is those guys are cornbread fed. That's all I keep hearing. But they got to understand, we eat cornbread with every meal down here. Spaghetti, chicken, fish. So it's going to be one in the trenches, guys. This game, again, is going to be one in the trenches. It's going to come down to our guys pushing those guys around, getting off our blocks, and keeping the quarterback in the pocket so our guys in the back, on the back end, on speaking defense, can make plays. So that's what it's going to come down to.
You know, Wallace, Wisconsin runs a defense very similar to FSU's. It's a 3-3-5. That's what FSU, Tony White, that's the defense they ran in that first game against Alabama. So Alabama will be facing that. And again, this defensive line that Wisconsin has put together, they went to the portal. They got a lot of guys to fill in spots. It was a real weakness for Wisconsin last year. It's turning into a big-time strength this year. Can Alabama run the football against Wisconsin? That's going to be a key.
Oh, I most definitely think they can. I think they will, just having the opportunity, play against Florida State, and having that game under our belt, having that experience against that type of defense, we kind of know what to expect. Like I said, it's a copycat league, so more than likely they're going to try to come in and do some similar things to Florida State, and hopefully those guys have learned from their mistakes, and have confidence coming off a big win this past weekend. It should translate to a nice victory for Bama come Saturday.
And what I'd like to add to that, Andre, is County High has been known to give us their best every decade. We had LaRon McClain.
Yeah.
And now, I'm just being honest, guys, and now we've been blessed with another great back out of the home state, homegrown boy. So I think that kid's going to come out again and have another big day, guy. I'm sure he has the most fans in the stands. So he's for sure playing for pride. So I think our running band is going to be fine.
Yeah, again, speaking of the running game, it wasn't just Kevin Riley. I like the flash I saw from A.K. Deere. It was late, the true freshman, but he showed big playability. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we didn't have a great opportunity to see some of the other guys. Dre Washington, I think Daniel Hill ran really, really well inside. But I tell you what, I will say this. He didn't have great stats. He didn't carry the ball a whole lot, but Richard Young showed me some physicality in this game, running the football. He only had 6 carries for 19 yards. But Wallace, I tell you what, and Andre, you may be able to address this really well. I saw Richard Young step up and make some big time blocks on pass protection. That's a real key.
Yeah, that's most important. The quarterback has to be able to trust the running back to be where he needs to be in protection. Be able to pick up that linebacker coming in the middle or the nickel coming off the edge. The coach has to be able to trust you to put you in those positions. Obviously, he's there when he needed to do during training camp and throughout practice throughout the week for them to have trust in him. And then he showed that on Saturday. I was really excited about those blitz pickups.
All right, I want to ask you guys, we're talking about the players bouncing back and how they were dialed in. Let's give the coaching staff some credit too. I mean, we were under the gun. I mean, you remember last Monday night, there was just a negative vibe here in Tuscaloosa. It was toxic to some degree. I mean, yeah.
Oh, they were ready.
Yeah.
They had a GoFundMe going.
Yeah. I mean, we had a woman saying if she won the lottery, the first thing she was going to do was take $70 million and buy out DeBoer. I mean, it was serious. So
passion, man, the passion.
Yeah, they stayed focused and they got this team. They learned from what happened in that first game and had them ready to play. So let me get you guys to comment on the job the coaching staff did.
Well, I mean, I'll let you go first, Drake. You
I believe
always
that the
start
guy,
off.
coaching staff did a tremendous job just preparing the guys to know what to look for when playing against an opponent. I think the preparation throughout the week was tremendous. From the OC, making sure the the offensive line coach, they all had the same vision. Make sure guys were teaching these guys the exact same thing, the verbiage, the terminology, made it easy for those guys to go out there and execute at a high level throughout the week of practice, and they showed on Saturday for sure.
And I had the pleasure of speaking with Freddie Roach.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm sure that the offenses, hopefully they're able to build off that again, do this again, like I said on Saturday.
Is Wallace back with us, Bob? Yeah, Wallace, you're back. You dropped for a second. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry about that. I said I had the pleasure of speaking with Coach Freddie Roach before the game, and I asked him, what's the biggest improvement that you've seen from week 1 and week 2? He said, "Again, to be honest with you, these guys are going to use their hand." And he told me that before the game, and they came out and did exactly what he said. So that tells me that he put an emphasis on that, and they answered the bell. So Freddie just got to keep coaching these guys hard like he's doing, man. And they're respecting him. They're working hard for him, and that's what we want to see. We want to see guys commanding the lead, understanding their assignment, and executing. And if they keep doing that, guys, this team can be. It could be a pretty good team because let's be honest, I haven't really seen much out of the SEC so far. So it's still wide open.
Oh, sure
in
is.
my eyes.
Sure is. Like I said, it's a week-to-week league. It's going to be. Rodney, nobody knows about the toxicity of this past week better than you, running the board at Tider Insider. Sunday of last week, there were a lot of people ready to fire the coaching staff. I know this is just one game against an inferior opponent, but it feels like, Alabama fans, they can be a little bit moody, but they are back on board, and this is a chance to build on what happened this past Saturday with this game against Wisconsin.
And I think a lot of that goes back to this. When you got in the stadium on Saturday evening, it was lifeless.
Yeah.
I mean, the fans, you just didn't feel it. But the team came out on the field and they generated excitement with their play. They played with a lot of passion. They played with a lot of enthusiasm. You saw a lot of young players on the field making plays. I thought the offense was, it was really exciting watching. So I think the passion that they played with and how they kind of energized the crowd, really, it's kind of turned things around. Now, again, I think everyone also realizes that it's a real baby step, but it is a step. It's a step in the right direction, like we said earlier, and hopefully they'll take that to Wisconsin. And I think when we see this Alabama team against Wisconsin, we're going to have a lot better feel about what to expect when they play Georgia. Again, I know Georgia's going to be on the road. It's going to be an SEC game. It's going to be a night game. It's going to be that's a tough environment to go into. But I think, again, where Alabama is right now, given the way they played against Florida State, they responded really, really well.
And as former player, that's where I'm going, Wally. As former players, you've been on really good teams and you've been on some teams that struggled. When it's not going your way, do players and coaches close ranks and just give it the all we have is us? Is that happen, or is that overplayed in the media?
I don't even think it's got to that point yet. At the end of the day, Florida State was a devastating loss, but I think we're going to look back, guys, and realize how good that Florida State team really is. I don't think they're bad as a lot of that 2-0 record that people think they are. That's a totally different team. And Clemson hasn't showed me enough to say that they're that much better than Florida FSU this year. So I'm going to hang my hat on that. I think what we saw from Florida State, those guys are going to be playing, on into December, and we're going to look back on that loss, and it's going to be, one of the ones on our schedule that's going to help us at the end of the year, if that makes sense. I do believe.
All right, I see a phone call coming through, so we'll get that caller on the line in just a moment. In the meantime, Rodney, we ready to go?
It's an interesting call. Is John Merrill?
Oh, wow.
John Merrill. How about that? Former Secretary of State, Bama alum. Hey, John, you're inside the trenches with Wallace Gilberry, Andre Smith. What's going on, man?
Hey, let me tell you something. If you got my 95 and my 71 on the show, those are the numbers on the chart, but that's number 1 and 1A in my heart.
Hey, man. And I can honestly say, guys, John Merrill, not only a friend of the show, but he's a friend to my family. I love him and his wife dearly. Much respect. Roll Tide. Thanks for calling in tonight, John.
Let me tell you something. All the people that are listening out there, we don't have any better examples of what Alabama football and the Alabama legacy is all about than the two gentlemen that you got as your guest tonight in the trenches, Gary. You know, I think about Wallace Gilberry and being the kind of student athlete in South Alabama that people aspire to have come up through their school, and then to be as successful as he was, and yet not have any major colleges reach out to him and attempt to have him come play ball for them, and then distinguish himself like he did when he was at the university, still not get the respect that he's due, and then go and, I mean, Lord, all he did play in the National Football League like 8 to 10 years. I mean, let's be serious. You don't get to play for the Cincinnati Bengals and the Kansas City Chiefs and the teams that he played for and separate himself from his teammates like he did without having a heart of determination and a drive for excellence that was just unmatched by anybody else in his class. And then the way he took young people like Tyrone Prothro and a couple of other guys, and of course Todd Bates was one of his teammates too, who's now the defensive coordinator down in Oklahoma. But the way he nurtured them, he worked with them, and he tried to make sure that they could become all that they could become. I mean, we need people in the stands when Wallace Gilbert and Andre, hold on a second, son. I'm gonna get to you in a minute. But when these guys could just every time they walk in Bryant-Denny Stadium, when people see them, they need to stand up and give them a salute as well as cheer, and to just encourage them for all that they've done for this institution. Now, I love Wallace Gilberry. Cindy does too. We have loved him since we first met him. He's just a special, special young man. Now, let me.
Okay. All right. Well, we lose John for a second, Bob. What's going on here? Okay.
Did we lose him?
Hold tight. We got to get back to John because he hadn't even got to Andre yet. John?
Yes. So let me say this about Andre. When Andre came to the university, and that's the time Wallace was getting ready to leave, but we had not had a down lineman that had made the kind of impact that he was capable of making. Of course, one of the top line recruit in the nation, and then come here and to become first team All-American, and then to have such a distinguished career in the National Football League. I mean, he set a standard that allowed us to sign people that went on year after year after year, that's still continuing today, to have tackles, guards, centers that we had when Coach Bryant was here. But Andre is the one that started to set the standard for excellence. When we got him, we knew that Alabama was going to return to what Alabama had been on the line.
Absolutely.
And when you needed a yard, all he said was, just hand it off behind me. The next thing that you were going to hear from the official was first down, Alabama.
Well, John, let me tell you something. You didn't have to run behind him. You could throw it to him. Ain't that right, Andre?
Absolutely. You sure did.
Oh, yeah, I could catch it too, for sure.
So, John, can you tell the listeners what you got going on these days, and how can we help you in your endeavors?
You're so kind, my friend. I appreciate that. Now, currently, since my term expired, my second term as secretary, when you had to vacate because you're only 2 and you're out, I started work January the 16th of 23 with Wagner Engineering. And so we're trying to help communities all across Alabama, our 67 counties, 466 municipalities, become all they can be by helping them transform their communities in water, sewer, roads, bridges, park design, development, long-range planning, all those things that are necessary for communities to grow and become what they can be. And of course, I've had a lot of people encouraging me to run for office again. I'm not saying that I won't do that. I'm not saying I won't do it.
You got my support.
100%.
We just have to be patient and just see how the chips fall. And there's opportunities out there. We'll see if we can take advantage of them. But let me say this: it's not about me tonight, and it's not even about the kid, Gary Harris, and it's certainly not about Rodney Gerald. But I will say this: tonight it's about Wallace Gilberry and Andre Smith and all the University of Alabama football fans that love our program, that love our history, and that owe you two a debt of gratitude. I couldn't let the night pass without calling y'all and letting you know how much we
Appreciate
love
you, brother. Love you, man.
We love you. Appreciate
All right,
you,
John.
man.
Awesome,
Sir.
awesome call. Now, Wallace, did you set that up with John to call in?
Hey, listen, I'm touched by that because again, me and John been friends since I was at the University of Alabama. Like I say, me and his wife Cindy been friends since I met John and his wife, and he's just been a tremendous guy, not just for me, but for the state of Alabama. So, John, again, thank you for your love, bro. Before you go, John, we got to get your prediction next week. Alabama, Wisconsin.
Oh,
what
we
you got
lost
for
him.
us?
We lost him,
Oh,
Wallace.
man,
We
great.
already
It's all
lost him,
good.
man. All
It's
right.
all good.
Hey, let's that's a great call though, John. Appreciate you checking in with us. So let's get to a break. And then when we come back, we're going to have one more segment to finish this thing up. Hey, listen, 205-339-4953. If you want to get on with these legends, just like John Merrill did, give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. Inside the Trenches, boy, it's fun tonight here in Tuscaloosa, getting ready for a huge game on Saturday, 11 a.m. kickoff with the Wisconsin Badgers. We'll be back after this.
Labor Day has come and gone, but the best beach days are ahead of you on the Alabama Gulf Coast now through Thanksgiving. No one wants to work on vacation, so let iBeach Service do it for you. Set up your chairs, umbrellas, and canopies every morning and take them down every evening so you can soak up the calm, the sun, and the peace you deserve. For more information, you can call us at 251-504-0097 or visit us online at ibeachservice.com.
Football is back. Join former Alabama standouts Wallace Gilberry and Andre Smith alongside Tiger insiders Rodney Orr and Gary Harris every Monday from 7 to 8 p.m. Central as Wallace and Andre take you inside their time in the Crimson and White and in the NFL. Come along as they give you an inside look into the Crimson Tide and more. Catch us Monday from 7 to 8 Central on Tide100.9.com and TiderInsider.com and all your social media platforms for Inside the Trenches.
Yeah, I'm from Big Bama. You're not the little one. We got smoke for anybody that wants some. Yeah, we don't do no yapping, and we don't do no capping. We from the state where all we know is make it happen.
7:47 here in Tuscaloosa on Monday night, Inside the Trenches. One final segment, 205-339-4953 if you want to join the Alabama and NFL legends, Wallace Gilberry and Andre Smith. Rodney Orr, Gary Harris here in studio as well. And we're getting ready for Alabama, Wisconsin, and had lively conversation tonight, broken down the game. So I guess now, Wallace, it's all about this team, just like they had to put that loss behind them last week, going ahead, fans, media, we have the luxury, I guess, of being able to go back and look back. As a player, you got to turn the page. I guess Sunday you review the film, and by Monday you moved on, right?
Some coaches give them 12-hour rules. Some give them 24-hour rules. I like to go by the 6-hour rule. As soon as my mom and family leave town, that page is turned. It's on to the next one. How did you approach it, Dre?
I came up under Coach Saban, so I'm most definitely, 24-hour type of guy.
Okay, that's all right.
Just linger over 24 hours, then you move on to the next.
Hey, Wallace and Andre, I know you're gonna make predictions here at the end of this.
Yeah,
I mean, my predictions have been going so good, Rodney. But I'll shoot some numbers out there.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure I will also.
Yeah, y'all make predictions. Rodney and I have to hold ours until tomorrow night on Tider Insider TV. But we want you guys to bust out the predictions before the show's over for sure. Because hey, let me ask you about this. This has got nothing to do with the football team. This has got to do with public perception. It's a reactionary society. I'm not a gambler. I don't bet on football. I would have made a lot of money this past week because I sniffed that one out with Alabama. The line was cheap because of what happened against Florida State. So I know we got a lot of, let's be honest, we got a lot of gamblers that listen. That line probably is going to be a 45 to 48 point line if Alabama wins. Instead, it went all the way from 38 to 36.5. Now, because we're a reactionary society and these odds makers are going to set the lines based on the perception, this is a 20-point line against Wisconsin. That just like I thought last week was criminally low at 36.5. 20 sounds against a team of this caliber sounds a little thick to me. What do you guys think?
It kind of takes me to that Ole Miss Kentucky game last week. You know, a lot of people thought Lane and those guys going to come in there and pour it on Kentucky, but those guys fought all the way through. And Wisconsin has been known as a team to fight, guys. And again, I like the way my team came out and put up points last week. But Dre, can we sustain that? Can we come back out and follow up with a 72-point lead?
That's what I was exactly about to say. Just which version of Alabama is going to show up. You know, that's what it really comes down to. It's going to be the first game of the year version, or it's going to be like this past Saturday's version. It's really up to those guys, their determination, their effort, that tenacity, you know, that standard. Are they going to play up to that, or are they going to play down to their competition? It's really what it's going to come down
And
to.
guys, I want to say one thing too. You know, Dre got a weak voice right now, and he has to watch the games on Sunday and this morning. So Dre, tell him why that your voice is gone today, because a lot of people don't know why your voice is this low.
Man, we had a tough game this past Saturday down at Edwards University. We ended up on the wrong side of win-loss, but you know, we did some really good things on film. You know, we have a really young team right now. You know, you go through growing pains when you have a young team. So I think this guy's gonna really work hard this week and hopefully we'll pull out a victory come Saturday.
The fact that you don't have a voice tells me you have a young team and you're doing a lot of yelling.
Oh
See,
yeah,
I got Alabama
I
State.
gotta let them hear me,
Yeah,
man.
y'all got Alabama State this week, so man, that's an in-state rivalry, I would think, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a tremendous game. You know, Alabama State has some tremendous players, both on both sides of the ball, both offense and defense, and they do some really good things in special teams. And it's just up to us as our players and coaches as we get them prepared for the week, for them to go out and execute at a high level. You know their tendencies, know what they like to do, what they really don't like to do. And I think we're going to do a really good job preparing.
You know,
those
for
guys.
a lot of those out there that don't know, Andre, tell them who you're coaching with now, what you're doing.
Say it one more time.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people may not know. A lot of those listening may not know. Alabama fans may not know that you're coaching now. You're a college coach. Kind of talk about you know, where you are, what you're doing.
Your transition.
I'm at Miles College, right, located here in Birmingham, Alabama. You know, I feel like I have a lot of oil, so to speak, a lot of experience from playing the game of football, the highs and lows of the game. And just for me to be able to get back to my community at a high level, being at D2 football, I think Miles has done some tremendous things, both in the community and on the football field. I think we have a great group of guys, a great leader led by Coach Chris Gould, who's also an Alabama alum.
Roll Tide.
He played there for a long time. Him and his brothers. He had a tremendous career while he was at Bama, and also had a tremendous career while playing in the NFL. Like I said, just to be under his leadership, and him be able to be our head coach, and him be able to give the defense nuances of the game, and me be able to give them details on offense. I think we do some really good things together. I think the sky's the limit. And like I said, we have a really young team, but we're growing up fast. I think we're gonna be really good as the season goes on down the road.
Cool. We're gonna keep an eye on y'all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right,
sorry
let's
about
get
that,
to
guys.
it.
Sorry about that. I wanted to plug in Miles and my boy Andre for a quick second. So let's jump back on track. What you got for us, Gary?
Well, let's get to it. I want you guys to give your predictions and why on Saturday, Alabama versus Wisconsin.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. You can go ahead, Dre. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right. I think the score is going to be 42-28. Bama way.
Okay. A lot of points, Wallace.
Yeah, that's a lot of points. And I don't, as players, we don't look ahead, but coaches have to, because I mean, the game is just always changing. So, I'm speaking from a coach's point of view right now, not a player's point of view. Georgia, a week after, I don't really want to, put my guys in too much out there, so to speak. So I think it's going to be a run versus run game. I think we may air it out some, but I don't think we're going to see a lot of deep passes. So I don't think we're going to have a high scoring game this week, guys. So I'm going to say 30 to 40 range to low. I give them under 10.
Wow.
Man, give us a score, bro. That isn't a score. You gave us a range.
Give me 30 to 40
give us a
under
score.
10.
Give us a score.
Give us an exact score, Wallace.
Give us a score, bro. Yeah.
38-6. I give them 2 field goals.
Okay. All right. Well,
that'll be a dominant defensive performance.
Yeah, Bama fans take that right now. They'll take that right now.
I like how our defense. I like how our defense is progressing. And honestly, guys, true enough, the competition level was a lot lower last week. But at the end of the day, those guys had to prepare for that game. Really ready for that game, and they did. So if they can hold on to that and grow from that, I think we're going to be all right, guys. I'm not at the practice every day. I'm not going to act like I'm a D-line guru, but I like what I saw from the hand position of the D-line. I like where their hands were. I'm gonna keep saying that, because at the end of the day, that's how you get off blocks and that's how you make plays. Is being good with your hands, and we're on target right now.
That's right. You beat the blocker at the line. It's still a line of scrimmage game. I've always said, just from being a sportscaster and playing high school football, but I've always said, great defensive linemen play on the other line of the scrimmage. Bad defensive linemen play with their back to the line of scrimmage. You want to be the guy that's getting on the other side and disrupting and not getting turned around. All right, we got about 3 minutes left. All three of you guys, I mentioned already, I think it's going to be a week-to-week league. Wallace, we'll start with you. I mean, Texas, lost at Ohio State, although granted Ohio State's a great team. Georgia looked very average against Austin Peay. LSU looks good, but I don't know that there's a dominant team in this league. And I think right now, when you look at the conference, Wallace, it's wide open. Would you agree with that?
I would, and I would say, to me, the scariest team is South Carolina, and maybe throw a little bit of Tennessee in the mix, because again, we haven't seen a complete game from none of these teams. I mean, even Alabama, even though we had a solid game last week, we haven't seen a complete game. I think there were still some areas that we could have improved on last week, and I'm sure the coach is going to address those things, but we haven't seen a complete game for none of these teams, Gary and Rodney and Andre. So I'm not going to sit here and say that, the SEC is the lock this year, because we haven't seen that so as to this point.
Andre?
And for me, this was just what the landscape of college football is today. There's talent all the way around, Joe Blows have talent. I believe that there's so much talent from top to bottom. SEC schools have a plethora of talent. Those guys are going to compete so hard on Saturday. I think like you said, there's really no front runner right now. And just because the competition is so even amongst all the schools right now, you just don't have that one dominant school that we're accustomed to see at Alabama or Georgia, or LSU, or even a Tennessee dominate. That's how much the competition's got better in SEC, which is really fun for the fans and exciting.
It is. Rod, a lot of teams think they can win it.
Listen, I had a call today from a guy that's been a source of mine for 30 years. And he calls, we talk about college football all the time. And he said, Rodney, he said, listen, from what I see is, don't be surprised if there are multiple teams in the playoffs with 3 losses this year.
Wow.
That's how balanced he thinks it is. And it could be. You mentioned the parity. We'll see. It's going to be really, really interesting. But I'll say this, one interesting game in the SEC this week, obviously Alabama, Wisconsin, but that Tennessee, Georgia game in Knoxville is going to tell us something.
It will.
It sure is, Rodney. It sure is.
And I think it's better for Alabama if Georgia wins that game. I do. But you gotta play either way. But I'd rather see Georgia coming off a win.
You got to play the game.
Hey, Wallace, final 30 seconds. I know you got a lot of support, but if people are interested in finding out more about Inside the Trenches, or maybe doing some advertising, supporting the podcast, how can they do it?
We have we have a email account, insidethetrenches@gilandre@gmail.com. You can hit us up on email. Leave your name, your business. We'll reach back out to you and figure out, what's the best solution for us to give you the benefit of the doubt. Not us. We've made our hay, and this platform is for you guys. So if we can help you guys in any way, come
awesome. Great show, guys. Appreciate all three of you. And Inside the Trenches will be on every Monday night at 7 p.m. We'll be broadcasting on Tide 95. I'm sitting in the 95.3 the Bear studio. We'll be broadcasting on Tide 100.9 FM and everywhere that you get your podcast. So for Wallace Gilberry, Andre Smith, and Rodney Orr, I'm Gary Harris. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you again next week on Inside the Trenches.
Labor Day has come and gone, but the best beach days are ahead of you on the Alabama